Hey, I want to talk to you about something. Something that will affect you your whole life. Are you listening? So, how old are you? 10, 11, maybe 12? Thinking about high school yet? What your job is going to be? Who you're going to marry? Well, you have lots of time on that one. What about image? Yeah, image. How to be cool, look cool to your friends, how to fit in. Every generation had their idea about what was cool. But sometimes what seems cool can be really bad for you. You have already heard about the nasty things that can happen to tobacco smokers. You know, cigarettes, cigars, pipes. What I'm talking about is vaping. E Cigs, as they are called. Flavored vapor that you inhale from one of these. Seems harmless, right? Nothing like a cigarette, right? Well, not so fast. There's a lot of stuff we don't know about it that we are still finding out. Like...
The e-liquid contains a base similar to that used in cosmetics and food, which helps maintain moisture without creating sogginess. One common base called propylene glycol, which is used in theatrical smoke, is known to cause irritation to the eyes and respiratory infections.
Whoa, that was intense. Not sure I can understand much of what he's saying. Can you? Let's slow it down. Take it back to 4 important things you need to know the answers to. Number 1, just what is an e-cig? An e-cig or e-cigarette is an electronic device. You breathe in vapor from a liquid that has been heated electronically instead of with fire, like a regular cigarette. This changes the liquid into vapor, and not just harmless water vapor like most kids may think. Well, we don't know all the science yet, but either way, you are putting chemicals into your lungs and your body that aren't meant to be there. Not a good idea. Number 2, along with other known and unknown chemicals that can be in the vapor, some of these liquids also contain the addictive drug, nicotine. Nicotine is a stimulant. That means it makes your heart beat faster, your blood pressure go up, and releases natural chemicals from your own body into your brain. So, what do you think happens after it wears off and your body craves more of that feeling from the nicotine? Yup, you want to keep it going and your body becomes addicted. So, the more you vape, the more you crave. Then, the more you crave, the more you vape. That sounds a lot like addiction to me. Number 3, since nicotine is known to be addictive, vaping can lead to smoking. It can be a gateway to much more dangerous habits of using tobacco through cigarettes or other tobacco products. And we all know now that smoking can cause cancer and heart disease. Not a good thing to have. Number 4, the biggest thing we know about e-cigs is that we don't know enough. E-cigarettes have only been around for 10 years or so. We've got lots to learn yet about the long-term effects. Hey, so why risk it? You got enough going on with school and all. Don't take a chance with your health just to be cool and to fit in because your friends are all doing it. Seriously. So, if you were my little brother or sister, I'd say, don't do it. I want you around. Well, most of the time. And one last thing, check this out.
My question is like, what do they do for you? I know from like normal cigarettes that cigarettes can be really addicting, so I'm guessing if they have similar ingredients, then it could get you addicted to them.
People use it because they think it's a substitution for cigarettes, but they have like the same addictiveness.
I've heard about them. Yeah, I've heard people say like, do you want to vape? Like, are you interested in that? I'm not. I don't think it's cool. I don't really understand why people want to do it. And I think as I go into high school, more people will start doing it. I guess maybe because they look cooler and people say like, oh, well, they're better for you. But I mean, that doesn't really make sense. You just shouldn't do them overall. I mean, I guess it's better because when you're older, you can make more mature decisions for you. But at the same time, at that age, you might be into like parties and stuff. So you're like, hey, look, I got an e-cigarette. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like they maybe should rank it up even higher or just, I don't know, I don't really think they're necessary. I think posters and stuff like that and campaigns for it are really good. We have posters in our hallways about them saying don't do it and stuff. And I mean, they're cheesy, but I think they do help in my opinion. I think peer pressure has a lot to do with it. It scares me. I'm worried my friends will do it. Like, I know I'm smart enough not to fall for that kind of peer pressure, but not all my friends are. Like, they joke about it, and I'm just like, why would you joke about that kind of stuff? It's not funny.
Don't buy into the peer pressure. It's not worth it. It has bad outcomes. Just don't do it.
I started vaping 2 years ago. Things got really, really rough. My mom was going through a divorce. My ex-girlfriend, I mean, she was my girlfriend at the time, but a girl left me. I lost a lot of my friends, and I started vaping so I could get a buzz. And for a while, you know, it seemed good. It kind of got rid of some of the stress that I had in my life, but I also really, really worried about some of the consequences that may come with it because I was a runner. During my runs, I could kind of feel more of a tightness in my chest. And me caring so much about running, I started to get to a point where I wasn't sure if like I wanted to keep on vaping while running.
I got a good friend. His brother got him into vaping, and he was a smart guy, good grades. He was very athletic. He played basketball. He was on the varsity team, and he got into vaping. And then so from vaping, he went to smoking marijuana. His grades started going down. His parents, he had many problems with his parents. He got kicked off the varsity team. It's just, when you vape, it takes over your life, and then just start doing worse things.
I got to a point where I was hooked on the nicotine, and even though I didn't want to do it, I still kept on vaping. Because when you're addicted to nicotine, you just feel like you need it all the time. Like, you get up, you know, you get up from sleeping, you want nicotine. You finish a meal, you want nicotine. You and your girlfriend get in an argument, you want nicotine. It just ends up being this really bad cycle of always needing this substance. So since you can up the amount of nicotine in an e-cig, I started off at like 3. And the problem is since your body gets used to nicotine, you end up wanting to go up. So you go up in increments such as like 3, 6, 9, 12. And then before you know it, you could be up at 24, which is the same amount of nicotine as a cigarette.
No, I feel like people don't know. I feel like people just listen to some commercials and say it's like harmless for your body, it's good for you, it's a step down from smoking, you know. And then so I feel like they think it's like, okay, there's nothing's gonna happen to me, so they just keep on doing it. But in reality, they're just getting more addicted to it.
I was so against smoking. I thought it smelled bad. You know, I'd roll down the window, I'd cover up my face like this. But then with vaping, I feel like part of the problem is it still does some of the same things as smoking, but it's so much more appealing to the young people because, you know, it doesn't make their breath smell bad, it doesn't make their clothes smell bad.
I've seen middle schools vaping before, and I was just shocked. Like, how do you get into vaping at that young age? Like, who influences you?
Before I started vaping, I actually noticed that my little brother was vaping. And I mean, he was in 6th grade at the time. And I mean, if you think about that, that's really bad. It's just like you have a bunch of middle schoolers smoking something. I've seen 4th graders vaping. And I mean, even though I was vaping myself at one point, and I am against it now, it just kind of really, really hurts to see these fourth graders, third graders, fifth graders with something in their mouth puffing away at it. It just doesn't look right.
I had siblings who actually did it, and then just seeing how they reacted to it and how it affected their life, and then they had many arguments with my parents, and then so I just try to avoid that, and every time I get asked, I just say no.
Some advice that I have is stay away from vaping, avoid peer pressure. You don't have to do something if somebody tells you to. If somebody's like, hey man, take a puff off this vape, you don't have to do it. Don't do it. Listen to your parents. It may feel good for a second, but hey, in the future, it's not going to be worth it.
Well, that's the facts. Now you know that when you vape, all those chemicals go straight into your lungs. And it's not just plain old water vapor like many kids think. It's really poison, and we have no idea what it will do to you, but it can't be good. The one thing we do know about is nicotine. The same drug that gets you addicted to cigarettes can get you addicted to E Cigs. And once you are addicted, what's next? More nicotine, moving on to other tobacco products, or possibly even getting addicted to worse things. And nicotine can permanently damage your brain. Think about that one. So, if you really want to be cool, if you really want to fit in with your friends, and if you really want to stay healthy, don't do it. Just don't.